Optimizing your trading environment for focus is rarely discussed in terms of hardware screens or indicators alone. Yet the most influential trading psychology and performance literature agrees on one quiet truth: your environment is not a backdrop to your decisions. It is an active participant in them. Every sound, every visual cue, every notification competes for the same finite resource that determines success or failure in trading. And that resource is not capital, but attention. A trader may spend years refining strategies and risk models, yet lose consistency simply because their environment constantly fractures their focus, pulling their mind away at precisely the moments when clarity matters most. At its deepest level, an optimized trading environment is designed to reduce cognitive friction. Focus is not something you summon through force of will. It is something you protect by removing unnecessary drains. Personal trading memoirs and performance-focused finance literature repeatedly show that the best traders are not those who process more information, but those who process less more deliberately. They curate their surroundings so that only what is essential to decision-making remains within reach, while everything else is pushed far enough away that it cannot intrude during moments of execution. Physical space plays a deceptively powerful role in this process. A cluttered desk subtly communicates urgency and unfinished business to the brain. Each object becomes a reminder of something else that could or should be done, fragmenting attention before a trade is even entered. Traders who perform consistently often describe their workspaces as almost austere, not out of aesthetic preference, but because simplicity reduces internal noise. A clean desk, a consistent seating position, and a predictable layout of screens allow the mind to settle into a familiar rhythm, conserving mental energy for analysis rather than orientation. Lighting and ergonomics, often dismissed as secondary concerns, also shape cognitive endurance. Harsh lighting increases fatigue and irritability, while poor posture accelerates physical discomfort that slowly erodes patience. Trading literature that addresses longevity emphasizes comfort, not as luxury, but as infrastructure. When the body is at ease, the mind is less reactive. This matters because trading punishes reactivity and rewards calm repetition of process. A well-adjusted chair, neutral lighting, and screen placement that reduces eye strain quietly extend the amount of high-quality focus a trader can maintain across a session. Digital environment optimization is even more critical. Modern traders are surrounded by alerts, news feeds, chat rooms, and social media commentary masquerading as information. Yet much of this input increases emotional volatility without improving decision quality. Experienced traders often speak of intentional information fasting during active trading hours. They limit news intake to predefined windows and disable non-essential notifications entirely. This is not ignorance, it is selectivity. By controlling when and how information enters the mind, traders prevent emotional hijacking caused by sensational headlines or the opinions of others at moments when discipline is most fragile. Another recurring lesson from trading psychology literature is the power of ritual. Focus is easier to enter when the brain recognizes familiar signals that it is time to perform. Simple, repeatable routines before trading sessions help transition the mind from everyday concerns into analytical mode. This might include reviewing a trading plan, checking risk limits, or a few minutes of stillness before markets open. Over time, these rituals condition the nervous system, making focus more accessible and reducing the mental effort required to get in the zone. Sound, or the intentional absence of it, is another environmental factor often underestimated. Some traders thrive in silence, where every tick feels amplified and deliberate. Others use consistent low-level background sound, to block sudden disturbances. What matters is not the choice itself, but its consistency. An optimized environment minimizes surprise. Sudden noises spike adrenaline and pull attention outward, while a controlled soundscape keeps the nervous system stable. Stability, not stimulation, is what allows focus to endure across long trading sessions. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of optimizing a trading environment is emotional safety. Focus cannot survive in an atmosphere of constant self-judgment. Many high-performing traders keep journals not just for trades, but for emotions and decisions. This externalizes inner dialogue, preventing rumination from polluting the trading space. When mistakes are processed after the fact, rather than during execution, the environment becomes psychologically safer. The trader is no longer trading under the weight of unresolved emotions, but within a space that encourages learning rather than punishment. Ultimately, optimizing your trading environment is an act of respect for the limits of human attention. It acknowledges that focus is fragile, easily disrupted, and incredibly valuable. By shaping physical, digital, and emotional surroundings to support calm repetition of process, traders give themselves a quiet advantage that no indicator can provide. The environment becomes an ally rather than an adversary, carrying part of the cognitive load so that the trader does not have to. And it is at this point, when the space itself begins to support clarity, that focus stops feeling forced and begins to feel natural, sustainable, and reliable, setting the stage for decisions that are made not in haste or distraction, but in alignment with a well-rehearsed plan, and a mind that is finally free to do the one thing trading truly demands, which is to remain present when it matters most, and to stay there long enough for skill to express itself fully without being drowned out by noise, tension, or unnecessary complexity that never belonged in the room to begin with. And this is where the deeper work of focus truly starts, because once the environment stops demanding attention, the mind is finally free to observe itself. And this is where focus evolves from a temporary state into a trained capacity. Trading literature that explores mastery often notes that the highest level of focus is not intensity, but stability. Intensity burns hot and fades quickly. Stability endures. An optimized environment creates the conditions for this endurance by removing the need to constantly reset attention after distractions. Over time, the trader notices that focus no longer feels like something that must be summoned at the start of each session, but something that is already waiting ready to be entered. As this stability develops, decision-making begins to slow down in a productive way. Trades are no longer rushed to escape uncertainty, nor delayed out of fear. The trader responds to setups as they appear neither chasing nor avoiding them. This balanced responsiveness is often described in professional trading accounts as being in sync with the market, though it has less to do with prediction and more to do with presence. When the environment is calm and familiar, the nervous system remains regulated, allowing perception to stay sharp without becoming reactive. At this stage, many traders discover that focus is deeply connected to boundaries. An optimized trading environment does not end at the desk. It extends into how time is structured. Clear start and end times for trading sessions protect focus from bleeding into exhaustion. The literature is consistent on this point. Overtrading is often a symptom of poor environmental boundaries rather than poor strategy. By defining when trading happens and when it stops, traders preserve mental freshness and prevent decision fatigue from eroding discipline. The role of recovery also becomes visible here. Focus cannot be sustained indefinitely, and environments that ignore this reality eventually sabotage performance. Experienced traders build deliberate breaks into their routines, stepping away from screens to reset their nervous systems. These pauses are not indulgences, they are maintenance. Just as muscles require rest to grow stronger, attention requires intervals of disengagement to remain sharp. A trading environment that respects recovery supports long-term consistency rather than short bursts of unsustainable effort. Another subtle but critical insight from trading psychology literature is that focus improves when outcomes are emotionally decoupled from self-worth. An environment optimized for focus minimizes exposure to performance comparisons, profit leaderboards, or constant P&L monitoring during execution. These elements pull attention toward validation rather than process. By postponing performance evaluation to structured review periods, traders keep their focus anchored in execution quality instead of emotional reaction. This separation protects the environment from becoming a courtroom where every trade is judged in real time. As this approach matures, the trading space begins to function almost like a cockpit. Every element has a purpose, nothing is accidental, and there is little room for improvisation under pressure. This is not rigidity, but readiness. When markets move quickly, the trader does not need to think about where to look or what to do next. The environment has already answered those questions. Focus in this sense is embedded into the system rather than residing solely in the individual. The final transformation occurs when the trader recognizes that optimizing the environment is not a one-time project, but an ongoing dialogue. Markets change, personal circumstances shift, and what once supported focus may later become a distraction. Periodic reflection and adjustment keep the environment aligned with current demands. This willingness to refine, rather than cling to old setups, is itself a marker of professionalism. And so the lesson closes with a quiet clarity. Focus in trading is not won through forced struggle or endless self-discipline. It is cultivated through design. By shaping spaces, routines, and boundaries that support calm attention, traders create conditions where skill can surface consistently. The environment becomes a silent partner, absorbing noise, regulating emotion, and preserving energy, so that when the moment to act arrives, the mind is clear, the body is steady, and the decision emerges without friction. If this perspective on focus and environment resonates with you, consider subscribing to continue exploring the deeper psychological edges of trading performance, and leave a comment sharing one element of your current setup you are now seeing differently after this reflection.